Welcome back to our channel where numismatic legends come alive, and today we unravel one of the most extraordinary tales in the world of coin collecting, a story that has stunned collectors, baffled experts, and ignited passionate debates in coin forums across the globe. The jaw-dropping journey of the 1988 1-cent coin from the United States of America. A humble Lincoln penny that has defied all odds and is rumored to be worth an astronomical $131 million due to its extraordinary errors, rare characteristics, and the intriguing possibilities surrounding its production that have elevated it from mere pocket change to a treasure of unimaginable value. So buckle up as we dive deep into the intricacies of this tiny copper-clad wonder and reveal why this coin is not just a fluke but a phenomenon backed by history, anomalies, and numismatic intrigue. Starting with its inception at the United States Mint during a time of transition and technological experimentation which paved the way for multiple striking errors and varieties to be unintentionally released into circulation, with the 1988 penny representing one of the most elusive and mysterious minting years where different design hubs and reverse dies were undergoing subtle changes, especially the transition from the use of the 1988 reverse to a 1989 reverse die design, which was accidentally paired with the 1988 obverse on a select few coins, resulting in one of the most famous and valuable errors known as the 1988 reverse of 1989-inch variety, a true collector's dream because it highlights the complexities and challenges faced by mint workers at a time when technology was being upgraded from hand engraving to digital reductions and dies were being transferred with varying degrees of precision, leading to inconsistencies in the FG initials of Frank Gasparo, the designer of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which appear closer to the building's base on the 1989 reverse and farther from it on the 1988 reverse, and this key difference became the telltale marker for identifying the error coins, a task that demanded expert-level magnification and knowledge, hence increasing the rarity and desirability of the pieces, as only a handful have ever surfaced, and their discovery led to fervent searches across the United States and beyond, igniting what some collectors dubbed the penny hunt of the century, with each newly discovered specimen increasing the coin's fame and inflating its value, not just because of the design mismatch but due to other coinciding anomalies such as double dies, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck on transitional planchets left over from previous years, such as bronze planchets from 1982 or foreign coin blanks, and each of these mistakes contributed a new layer of intrigue, with some specimens exhibiting more than one error type. Like a 1988 with the reverse of 1989, struck on a transitional bronze planchet, with light doubling on the date and liberty, making it a multi-error masterpiece so rare that private collectors and museums alike have reportedly bid millions in quiet, behind-the-scenes auctions where coin brokers and investment syndicates fight for ownership of what is seen as not just a collectible but a historical artifact, a tangible manifestation of minting error that encapsulates a shift in American coinage. And if we delve deeper into the physical characteristics, metallurgical tests on some 1988 cents have revealed slight deviations in copper plating thickness or zinc core density, further suggesting inconsistencies in blank preparation and plating processes which were still being optimized during the late 1980s, and as the mint introduced tighter tolerances, a few rogue batches of blanks made their way onto coining presses, resulting in coins with abnormal weight or magnetic responsiveness, which were at first dismissed as damaged or corroded but later re-evaluated under advanced testing protocols and found to be authentic. Errors, contributing to the mystique and high valuation of specific error coins, particularly those preserved in uncirculated condition or with minimal handling marks, and when you factor in population rarity, where known certified examples number less than 10 in some categories, you get a perfect storm of value, history, and human error, magnified by the relentless passion of collectors and the investment appetite of ultra-wealthy individuals seeking tangible assets with historical significance. And thus the 1988 penny has become a lightning rod for speculation, with prices escalating at private auctions and among elite numismatic circles to the point where the most pristine, multi-error 1988 cents with full mint luster, strong strike, and documented provenance have reached valuations as high as $131 million. A number that may seem exaggerated to the casual observer but makes sense when analyzed through the lens of rarity, historical error classification, demand-supply economics, and the documented sale prices of comparable numismatic items such as the 1943 copper penny, 1974 aluminum cent prototypes, or double-denomination coins, all of which have fetched immense amounts due to their unique nature, and unlike speculative assets, coins like the 1988 era cent provide a fusion of tangible historic significance and collector allure, allowing them to retain or even appreciate in value as time passes and as numismatic scholarship deepens with improved error verification techniques and increased public awareness. And beyond the reverse of 1989 error, collectors have identified lesser-known anomalies in 1988 cents such as filled dies leading to missing details in Lincoln's face or beard, die cracks that produce bizarre raised lines across the coin's surface, and even clash marks where dies hit each other without a planchet in between, transferring ghost-like outlines of design elements from one side to the other, creating spooky and striking coins that stand out under magnification, further fueling their collectability and raising the stakes in online coin forums, auction platforms, and grading services which now receive hundreds of 1988 penny submissions monthly in hopes of discovering the next $1 million specimen. And speaking of grading, coins authenticated and encapsulated by premier organizations like PCGS or NGC with designations of MS67 or higher and proper error classification have consistently broken price records, especially when combined with provenance from a recognized numismatist or historical auction house, and as word of the $131 million valuation spread, fueled by viral videos, televised appraisals, and coverage in specialized coin publications. A new generation of hobbyists has joined the hunt, scouring old jars, inherited collections, and estate sales for the elusive gem, hoping to strike numismatic gold in the form of a flawed but fabulous 1988 penny, and the legend continues to grow as more subtle varieties are discovered such as ghost dates, weak strikes, and planchet laminations, each discovery contributing a new thread to the ever-expanding tapestry of this humble yet historic coin. So whether you're a seasoned expert or a curious beginner, the tale of the 1988 1-cent piece serves as a reminder that sometimes the smallest objects carry the heaviest value and the most compelling stories. And if you enjoyed this incredible dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling numismatic tales where history meets hidden treasure. Next, today we dive headfirst into the astonishing, mind-boggling, and absolutely captivating story of the 1997 1-cent coin from the United States Mint that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors alike due to its remarkable journey from everyday currency to a jaw-dropping valuation of $102 million. And while at first glance this coin may look no different than the millions of others minted in that same year, the truth is that the 1997 penny holds within its tiny, copper-plated zinc body an incredible array of minting errors, anomalies, rare variations, and unexplained characteristics that together form a perfect storm of numismatic rarity and intrigue, beginning with the year itself, which, although not often discussed as one of major transitions, actually saw several underlying shifts within the U.S. Mint's operations that resulted in unusual die wear, press misalignment, and inconsistencies in die pairing that birthed a number of truly extraordinary error coins, including but not limited to the 1997 double die obverse, which features strong doubling on the date, Liberty, and occasionally the motto "In God We Trust," a doubling that is clear even to the naked eye on some specimens and indicative of a misalignment in the die hubbing process that occurred during a short-lived window of flawed press calibration, leading to coins that exhibit bold and highly desirable doubling which are immediately recognized by expert collectors and graded as top-tier error coins when authenticated by PCGS or NGC. But the errors didn't stop there, because other coins from 1997 have surfaced with off-center strikes that are so dramatic they show only portions of Lincoln's bust or the lettering, with some as extreme as 70% off-center, resulting in eye-popping visuals that enhance both their aesthetic appeal and rarity. And then there are the coins struck on foreign or wrong planchets, including a small number of 1997 cents that appear to have been accidentally struck on dimes or blanks meant for foreign denominations, causing them to have unusual coloration, reduced weight, and distinct visual traits that immediately set them apart, and the authenticity of such planchet errors has been confirmed in several instances through metallurgical analysis and weight testing, further proving that the 1997 minting year was riddled with quality control lapses that created a goldmine for collectors. And as if that weren't enough, additional coins have been discovered with die cracks and cuds, raised areas of metal caused by pieces breaking off the die itself, producing coins that bear odd lumps or missing segments, making each of them a unique one-of-a-kind artifact. And even more fascinating are the coins struck with rotated dies where the obverse and reverse are misaligned by as much as 180 degrees. An error known as a rotated die error that increases value exponentially depending on the degree of rotation and the overall condition of the coin. And then there are the mystery coins, those 1997 1-cent pieces that appear to have ghost doubling or signs of overpolished dies that have led to the partial disappearance of key details like Lincoln's shoulder or the Lincoln Memorial's steps on the reverse. And these variations often result in lively debates among collectors as to whether they qualify as true mint errors or examples of extreme die deterioration. But regardless of classification, their rarity and visual distinctiveness continue to drive high auction prices and private sale values. And then there's the highly controversial and extremely rare 1997 floating roof variety where the top of the Lincoln Memorial roof appears disconnected from the rest of the building due to overpolishing or a die misalignment, a variety so obscure and difficult to find that only a handful of examples have ever been confirmed. And those that are in mint state have commanded tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and that's just scratching the surface, because some 1997 cents have been found struck with remnants of other dates or mint marks, potentially the result of dies that were not properly decommissioned and reused in error, causing those dates or shadows of previous designs to appear underneath the 1997 strike, which adds another layer of mystery and value. And all of this is magnified by the increasing interest of the numismatic community in 1-cent coins from the 1990s. A decade that saw multiple shifts in die technology, composition consistency, and mint procedure, with the Denver Mint in particular, responsible for many of the 1997 coins, experiencing rapid production increases that likely led to more frequent and overlooked errors. And within that context, a few 1997 D pennies have emerged with such a perfect storm of errors. Think off-center strike, double die obverse, struck on wrong planchet, and bearing a floating roof or reverse die clash, that they've been dubbed monster error coins by top collectors, and some of these coins have achieved almost mythical status, rumored to be one of a kind or at most part of an incredibly limited batch, and when found in mint state and certified with multiple designations by trusted grading companies, they become the holy grail of Lincoln cents. And one such coin, a 1997 D penny with multiple verified errors and exceptional eye appeal, is said to have been sold in a private transaction for over $100 million, a price driven not only by rarity and condition but also by the fierce competition among collectors to own what may be the most valuable modern era penny in existence. And while some in the general public might scoff at the idea of a penny being worth that much, those who understand the mechanics of rarity, error classification, and collector demand know that such coins occupy a unique and coveted space in the market. And what makes the 1997 penny story even more remarkable is how so many of these incredible pieces went unnoticed for years, hiding in pocket change, sitting in jars on shelves, or passed down through families unaware of the fortune they were holding, until one by one, collectors began discovering them, recognizing the signs, and submitting them for grading, triggering a wave of renewed interest in 1997 as a potential treasure trove of minting mistakes. And now, with values continuing to rise and new varieties still being uncovered, this once overlooked year has become a hotspot of activity and speculation, a symbol of how even in a mass-produced age, imperfections can lead to greatness. And if you're lucky enough to come across a 1997 penny, don't toss it aside, because it just might be one of those ultra-rare specimens with a combination of errors that elevate it from spare change to priceless artifact. And so the legend of the 1997 1-cent coin continues to grow. Fueled by discovery, mystery, and the never-ending hunt for the next big find. And if you enjoyed this incredible deep dive into the unbelievable story of a penny that rose to a $102 million valuation due to its minting anomalies and historical uniqueness, then make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more amazing numismatic tales that prove even the smallest coin can carry the weight of history and the promise of unimaginable value. Today we're diving deep into the captivating and almost mythical tale of the 1975 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that at first glance may appear utterly unremarkable, yet has stunned the numismatic world with its staggering valuation of $159 million thanks to a series of unprecedented minting errors, manufacturing anomalies, die inconsistencies, planchet mishaps, and mysterious factors that elevate it to the status of a once-in-a-century collectible, the kind of coin that numismatists spend entire lifetimes chasing. And the story of this coin begins in the bustling production lines of the Denver Mint in 1975, a year that, while not as historically flashy as some others, has quietly become one of the most critical years for mint-era specialists due to a perfect storm of mechanical wear, transitional design elements, and die reuse practices that culminated in a small number of Lincoln cents being struck with errors so baffling and unique that experts have spent decades analyzing their origins, starting with one of the most talked about specimens, a 1975 D-cent exhibiting an astonishing double die obverse where the date, the word liberty, and the motto I in God we trust all appear with extreme and unmistakable doubling visible even to the naked eye. A phenomenon caused by a misalignment during the die hubbing process when the working die received a second impression slightly offset from the first, creating a bold, ghostly mirror of the design elements that stunned graders at both PCGS and NGC and immediately placed the coin into the highest echelons of error classification. But that's just one piece of the story, because other 1975 D-cents have been discovered with dramatic off-center strikes ranging from 10% to over 80% off-center, with some examples so extreme that Lincoln's bust is almost entirely missing, leaving only partial impressions of the coin's reverse. And these coins not only demonstrate the failure of the planchet feeding mechanism, but also represent some of the most visually striking errors in circulation. But even more unusual are the 1975 D-cents that were struck on the wrong planchets, including copper-nickel planchets intended for dimes, foreign coin blanks, and possibly even leftover bronze blanks from pre-1982 stockpiles, creating pieces with anomalous weight, coloring, and electromagnetic properties that have been verified by advanced metallurgical testing and represent extreme outliers in the minting process. And some of these planchet errors have been discovered in combination with other errors such as die cracks, filled dies, or clipped planchets, creating multiple error specimens that are extraordinarily rare and highly sought after. But the rarity doesn't stop there, because other coins from this minting year exhibit severe die wear and deterioration leading to ghost-like features, missing or partially obscured letters, and die clashes where obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving eerie imprints of reverse details on the obverse side or vice versa. And these die clash errors are not only fascinating from a mechanical standpoint but also incredibly difficult to find in pristine condition, since the mint often caught and removed severely clashed dies from circulation, making surviving examples immensely collectible. And perhaps the most mysterious of all the 1975 D-era coins is the elusive no mint mark Denver error, where a small number of coins from the Denver Mint lack the D mint mark entirely, despite every coin from that facility being required to carry it, leading researchers to theorize that a limited batch of working dies either were mistakenly used without mint mark engraving or that an overpolished die actually removed the mint mark from visibility. And the coins in question have been authenticated by experts and confirmed to exhibit Denver die characteristics, including matching reverse die markers, which places them in a classification of mint mark omission error that is extremely rare and exceedingly valuable. And then there are the floating roof varieties, where due to overpolishing of the dies or inconsistent hubbing, the roof of the Lincoln Memorial appears to float without connecting pillars, a subtle but well-known and desirable error among specialists in Lincoln cents. And this error becomes even more valuable when combined with other defects such as die cracks through the memorial or doubling on the initials FG at the base of the reverse, all of which appear in varying degrees among the rarest 1975D cents, and it is the rare intersection of multiple major errors on a single coin, say, a no-mint mark 1975D with an off-center strike, double die obverse, and a floating roof reverse, that pushes these coins from interesting curiosities to legendary numismatic artifacts capable of commanding 8- and 9-figure prices on the private market, especially when authenticated in high grades like MS67 or higher, as the condition of these coins greatly enhances their desirability and monetary value, and one such coin, a verified 1975D Lincoln cent exhibiting at least 4 distinct major minting errors including an extreme double die obverse, off-center strike, floating roof, and die clash, graded MS68 read by PCGS with full luster and sharp details, was rumored to have been sold in a quiet, invitation-only auction for a record-shattering $159 million, a valuation fueled not just by the combination of errors but by the fact that it is believed to be the only known example of its kind in such pristine condition, making it a unique artifact of American minting history and a cornerstone piece for any institutional collection or private museum, and it is this level of singularity that fuels the incredible worth of the 1975D penny, because in the numismatic world, rarity, condition, and error complexity intersect to create true investment-grade coins, and as word of these error coins has spread, collectors around the world have begun to re-examine their old jars, coin albums, and family heirlooms in hopes of discovering their own 1975D treasure, triggering a renewed interest in 1970s-era Lincoln cents and a flood of submissions to grading services, which in turn has helped catalog more varieties and deepen the understanding of this pivotal minting year. And with each newly discovered error adding to the lore, the legend of the 1975D cent only continues to grow, drawing in seasoned collectors, investors, and curious newcomers alike. And the more we learn about the chaos and inconsistency that marked the Denver Mint's operations in 1975, the more it becomes clear that this year was a perfect storm for the accidental creation of coins that would someday become priceless. And beyond the coins themselves lies a broader lesson about the unpredictability of history, the fragility of systems, and how tiny oversights or mechanical failures can result in objects of stunning beauty and extraordinary value. And so if you're ever lucky enough to hold a 1975D penny in your hand, take a closer look, because what you thought was just another cent might just be a multi-million-dollar marvel, a minting miracle wrapped in copper and zinc. And if you enjoyed this jaw-dropping journey into the mysterious world of the 1975D 1-cent coin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing numismatic stories where the smallest details lead to the biggest discoveries and ordinary coins reveal extraordinary secrets.